Katie Jensen. She's the Director of Access and Outreach at Catalpa Health. We're talking about kids and stress, something that all students typically face. Can you tell us about some of the factors that those students are facing today?
Yeah, absolutely. So some would obviously be some of the academic factors, and so there is a lot of rigor in a lot of the academic programs in the schools, which can be a great thing, but stressful. Athletics certainly can put a little pressure on kids, but also one of the things that we probably see the most is the fact that they're always turned on, that electronics, the
social media,
the social,
always.
Yes.
And that's something different than what we faced, you know, even as kids or our parents faced.
Right.
We don't understand what kids are facing today.
Right.
So what types of advice do you offer for parents?
Well, oftentimes it's just the same thing I would advise them regardless of access to electronics, and that is stay connected to your kid as much as possible. It's hard because a lot happens where before they had so much access, they had a pulse a little bit on what was going on with their kid, who were they hanging out with, what was going on that may contribute towards reactions, and now it happens so fast, it kind of accelerates everything and makes it a little bit harder for them to put their finger on how to help their kid and where to reach out.
So start that open line of communication. Anything else should they be monitoring? So their social media accounts, cell phones, what should they be doing that you're not overstepping boundaries though?
Well, I think it's always looking at what age they're at, developmentally. Parents know their kids, so just recognize that even if everybody else in the class maybe having access to certain things, they really just need to be realistic about what their kid can handle, and just always remembering the ages never change. Developmentally, they can only handle so much. So not being afraid to make a time to turn off at night, and even just putting some restrictions in place and monitoring it, like you said.
Say a parent is having an issue with one of their children being bullied. What are the first steps? What kind of resources do they have? What do you even start?
I think a lot of times starting with the school. So teachers, school counselors, they usually have a pretty good pulse as to what's going on. They hear a lot more than what anybody realizes. So that's probably where I'd start.
Start with schools. And what advice do you have for students out there who may feel, you know, a little afraid of talking to parents, or maybe even going in and talking to school faculty?
Well, oftentimes they probably know a friend that they could start with. If it's something that's a little bit more high risk, a coach. Maybe there's a neighbor that's a young adult, oftentimes somebody on the younger side, but again, encouraging them to be somebody that's mature enough and able to handle whatever. Somebody
they do feel safe with.
They do, yes, and then maybe that person reaches out for them to that adult.
Very, very, very good advice. Thanks so much for being with us, Katie. We appreciate it. For more information and how you can help your children or your teen deal with stress, just go to our website, NBC26.com, and click on this story.